What's up, guys? My name is Crazy Down to the Boss.
My name is Amen. I got vlogs.
My name is Aiden.
His name is Samaja. And today we'll be doing a Trying to Get Scared challenge, and this is called 14 Horror Stories Animated Compilation of 2015, and it's by Llama Arts. I don't know. Alright, let's get straight into this, and yeah, and I think it's animation.
I was looking for a car to buy for my son for his 18th birthday. I was searching all the typical car websites, Cars.com, eBay Motors. They were all overpriced as expected. Craigslist was the only place to find an actual deal. About a week into my search, I found an 03 Toyota Camry. It had 67,000 miles, no accidents, no damage, and good condition for only $3,500. This seems like a steal for such a reliable car with such low mileage. The seller lived about 10 miles from me, which was a reasonable drive when looking for a car. I gave him a call to set up a time to come check it out. The man sounded normal on the phone. He assured me that there were absolutely no problems with the car. He introduced himself as Bob. I brought along $3,500 in cash, even though I planned on wiggling down the price as much as possible. I pulled up the dirt road to Bob's property about 15 minutes early. It was a tiny little house with a decent-sized property, only because it was a bit far from the nearest neighbors. The garage was open, so I walked over to see if anybody was inside, but except for an unusual amount of car parts, it was empty. The car was nowhere in sight. The only car on the property was an old pickup truck. I went over to the front door to check the house numbers. It was the right address. The doorbell button was missing, so I knocked on the front door. I knocked for exactly 5 minutes before deciding to give the man a call. So I dialed his number, and I heard the sound of a cell phone ringing from inside the house. I was extremely confused at this point. Now I knew I had the right house. I didn't understand why, if he was home, why he wasn't answering. I decided I had to take a peek through one of the windows to see if anybody was inside. Peering through the glass, I couldn't really see much as it was pretty dark inside the house. I saw a very old-fashioned dining room set, but across from that, I saw somebody standing at the back door of the house, staring outside. I figured that must have been Bob, so I knocked on the window, but he didn't even move. There was no gate or anything to the backyard. It was just a wide-open yard, since this wasn't a rural area. I simply walked around the house to the backyard. I didn't understand how he couldn't hear me. When I got to the back door, I made a shocking realization. The figure standing by the door was a taxidermied human being. I ran straight back the way I came and back to my car. I looked up one last time before driving off. The blinds to the window I had peeked into had been shut, but I could see 2 of the blinds bent open. Somebody was at that window watching me. You can probably guess I had the gas pedal to the floor the whole way home. The whole situation still makes no sense. All the car parts, the fact that there was no Toyota Camry, the taxidermied human being. The fact that there was no car there leads me to believe that whoever that man wasn't planning on selling me anything. And that also leads to the disturbing thought that I was very close to becoming a lifeless statue staring out that man's back door.
So basically, what I guess was going to happen is that if he kept staring at that man, he would wind up turning like that. Then he would be a lifeless statue. And basically, somebody was calling him about a new car, but then it actually set him up, and also he almost got himself killed. Then, yeah. All right, how many times are we going to do? I think at least 4.
How many minutes?
The video is 50. I mean, the video right here is 15 minutes, and my videos are normally like 20 or 30 minutes. So we just gonna do 4. So this is the first one. We got 3 more to go.
Yeah, do not try not to do that.
Yeah, after this video.
I was on tour trying to find some really deep websites. I was in a chat room where people normally shared links to deeper websites and weird pictures and videos, commonly illegal pornography. Some guy named Vintage Triple X posted a link without describing what it was. I clicked on it, and it took me to a black screen where a big video box eventually popped up with a play button. The video thumbnail was a dark room, only lit by a TV screen. Out of curiosity, I clicked play, and began to hear the sound of TV static in the background as lines of static slowly swam down the video screen. There was no seek bar in this video. Then, I noticed something slowly begin to emerge from behind the wall. It was a figure dressed in all black with some kind of black mask on as well. I started to suspect it was a jump scare video, and I thought I was right when the figure leaped out and ran to the screen in less than a second. It still got me, even though I was expecting it, but then it got strange. The person had their face in front of the screen, slowly moving around as if he could see me and was observing me. Then I heard a crackly, demonic voice say something. It came from the video. It repeated itself, and I could make the phrase out to be, "Ask me something." I was really confused. I tried typing something, but there was nowhere to enter text. Then he said, "No, not the keyboard. Say something." I felt my heart punch the inside of my chest as he said this.
So basically, I think it's not actually like a video. It's like a demon or some type of ghost, and like they can hear him from inside the computer, except for like typing and stuff. I don't really understand.
10 pounds.
I opened my mouth and mumbled the words.
10 pounds of one. That makes no sense. But the weirdest one I said was 10 pounds of 10. I mean, 10 pounds of pounds. That doesn't make no sense.
"You can hear me?" It responded with, "Yes."
10 pounds.
I was uncomfortable now. I thought it was a video. I pressed pause, but it didn't do anything.
So yeah, it wasn't a
said,
video the whole time.
"Don't
Like,
try to leave. I want to talk." I tried moving the mouse to the exit button, but the mouse was frozen. In fact, none of the keys were responding on my keyboard. There was a long moment of silence before my webcam began flashing as if it were on, and my face popped up on the screen. "There, I got a picture of you now. Now just hang on while I get your address, and then we can meet." I started to panic, smashing every key on the
that's
keyboard,
weird.
spazzing the mouse, but it did nothing.
What about turning the
I had my finger on the power button, but
Yeah, I
it
was just
also
thinking
didn't
about
do anything.
that.
The computer wouldn't turn off.
Yeah, I thought you did.
The voice was saying crazy things like, "You're stuck here. I will find you. Don't even bother." I snatched the screwdriver sitting on my desk, unscrewed the 4 screws
that
on the
don't
bottom
work?
of my laptop, and took out the battery. The computer finally turned off. I was gasping for air as if I just ran a marathon. My heart was pounding 5 times as fast as it should have. I have since left my laptop off after that, and have resorted to using my desktop as my main computer. I'm sure by now nothing will happen. He definitely didn't have enough time to get my address.
Oh, he right there. Dang. He thought he was still safe. He thought he escaped. Then he realized
It
that
was
it
very
up to his,
common for me to be home alone at night, as I only lived with my dad, and his shifts would constantly shift from days to nights. This happened around the time my dad was doing night shifts.
Yeah, this is the third one.
I would stay up really
Yeah, one
late
more.
on these nights watching movies. It's always taken me a long time to fall asleep, so after turning off the TV to go to sleep, I probably laid there for a good half hour. Then, I heard a toy fall over in my toy closet. It was nothing too suspicious, but it still creeped me out. But then, the doorknob to my closet started to wiggle, until finally unlocking the door. I hid under my covers, not making a sound.
That
was
it's
strange.
like that used to be every child's fear, like thinking that something would come out the closet. That was never
That's
my,
how it was.
huh?
Oh my.
That was never my fear. I wasn't really a scared baby when I was young.
Quiet for a good 2 minutes, so
I was
finally
scared of some
peeked
things.
my
I was
head
scared
out
of the dark, but
covers.
I ain't.
There was a figure standing next to my bed, looking down at me. I screamed at the top of my lungs and began hugging the wall behind me. The figure looked out the window and then just walked away out of the room. I stayed in that position for like an hour before checking if he was really gone. The front door was left wide open, so it seemed he had left. I didn't get a minute of sleep that night.
Why was he even in? Why was he
This
even in?
story is
I
from the
don't
point of
get it.
view of a 16-year-old girl. I used to have a boy living next door to me that was obsessed with me.
Alright, this last story.
His name was Joey. Every time I would go outside, Joey would come outside as well, as if he were watching me through his windows, waiting for me. He was 17 and very weird, and he didn't seem to have any friends, as he was always home. I tried to give every sign possible that I didn't like this guy, but he wouldn't get the message. So I had to finally just tell him one day that I don't like him and to leave me alone. The look on his face that day is something that won't leave me. It was the kind of angry look a toddler gives their parents when they can't have a toy. Coming from a 17-year-old, that's much more disturbing. One night, my parents left me to watch the house. I was working on a school project when I felt my bed shift a little bit. I looked under my bed.
Oh wow.
I screamed as I saw Joey laying under my bed. I ran away while he tried to crawl out from under my bed. I ran to his house and rang the bell at least 10 times, telling his parents about it when they opened the door. Joey never came out of my house, so I called the police. His parents begged me not to, but I ignored them. The police found him still in my room and arrested him. Apparently, he admitted this wasn't the first time he had hid under my bed. They also found
So you
pictures
telling
of
me
me
he's been
scattered
under the bed
across
like
his
multiple
room.
times?
The most disturbing one was of me sleeping, and it was taken from inside my room.
What in the world? This is weird. Alright, that was all four of them. But hold on, let me turn the light. Somebody go turn the light on.
10 pounds for 1555.
Shut up!
I saw you.
But anyway, guys, that's me in this video. Hit a like button, share with your friends, family, something afraid to subscribe. Like this, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notified every time I do it.
And come on.
No, you do not do that. It's illegal. That's what I said. It's so you tell me it's illegal to do that. But yeah, guys, that was weird. It wasn't scary though. It was like confusing. But all right, guys, peace.